Welcome back to Mixed Media Creations with me, Creative Katie, Karen Burchill. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to this channel. That way you can follow me and keep up to date with what's going on. Today we have a Journaling by Fives Revamped and Revisited video. This time it's Step 2, Stamping. Here is a list of the stamps that I use, the tools that I use, as well as some ideas around purchase stamps that would be good. Links to them would be in this description box below. You can find this list in my Facebook group in the file section.
Hi everybody, Creative Katie, Karen Burchill, and we're ready to do Step 2 of Journaling by Fives, Revisited and Revamped. So my first step, I did collaging, and all the pages are ready and I numbered them. And I pulled out a few stamps. Now from last time around, during the collaging, I didn't finish because I had way too much stuff. So what I have done here is I've limited the stamps and everything that so I just have, my script, I have my music stamp, my netting stamp, I've got some found objects to stamp with, some homemade stamps, my dots, some bubble wrap, other found objects. But I tried to make that way simpler. So I'm just going to have those set out here. Now what I have over here is I have my small gel plate. And I have black paint because I'm going to stamp with black paint. I have my black ink pads because I'm going to stamp with it. And I also have white on a pad here as well. So I'm going to limit the stamping to those things. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of have two of these out at a time, to just arrange. So I'm just going to make sure all my stamps are over here so I can access them easily, and I will be back. Okay, so I've got my timer set for 15 minutes. Here's hoping I am successful with this one. And since I'm adding stenciling as a separate one, I have to remind myself that every page doesn't need to have full out treatment, that there is going to be more layers and things coming later. So just, oops, and begin.
I apologize with my focus on getting the stamping done with the time element. I didn't zoom out my camera, so you're going to see just a portion of the stamped areas that I'm stamping. Later on it does get a little bit better. Feel free to hit the gear and speed this up. At the end I do show the completed pages, so you will be able to see it. As well, what I will do is take pictures of the stamping tools that I used, and as always, anything specific, if it's a good stamp that I really like, I will put the link to it in the description box below. Sorry again.
That stamp doesn't work very well.
Hi, it's me again. I just wanted to say I really like using the white paint with the stamps, especially on the darker background. That added a lot of interest as those pages evolved. So definitely something I'm going to try to keep doing on my upcoming journal pages. Here you see me using the liner from a coffee cup, and I'm just dipping it in black paint and stamping kind of crosshatch patterns. That's a wonderful stamping tool. Shelf liner is wonderful and inexpensive to use for stamping, especially with acrylic paint. This is one shelf liner. I have about 5 different patterns, so I highly recommend going to the dollar store and getting some of that. If you've got friends that also journal, split it up. Each of you buy one roll and split it up. Here is another shelf liner that I absolutely love. It just is such an interesting pattern. I haven't seen this pattern anywhere, but if you find it, please buy it. You will not regret it. It works great on the gel plate as well. Hopefully by now you're getting the idea that you don't have to just have purchased stamps in order to have some interesting stamps on your background. Here I'm using bubble wrap, the shelf liner, and I believe here I have a homemade stamp that I cut the swirl with fun foam and then just mounted it on the block. It's one of my most favorite, and all of these work so well stamping directly onto your page or on a gel plate.
Sorry.
As you just heard, this is where I realized that I had zoomed in so close, and I apologize again. But you know, with this kind of video, it's not like I can redo it. The pages are done, and I hope you understand.
Okay, we've got 4 minutes left.
So I decided this time to add some gold paint and stamp on some of the pages with the gold paint. If you've watched my videos over the years, you know I like my shimmer, and I like that little bit of gold on some of my pages. So I finished this with 4 minutes to spare. And I think that was successful primarily because I edited my stamping choices. I didn't bring out everything in the kitchen sink like I did for my collage. So if you have extra time, you can go back and add something else at that stage, or you can just call it a day and say, hey, look at me, I got it done, and start the cleanup process.
so we are done. We had enough time. We even came back and added gold, although I don't know if that's going to show. So here's number 1. Number 2, you know, we've got some gaps here. So as I'm looking at these, I'm thinking, okay, this is probably where I might put some stenciling, or that's where, you know, color is going to go, or maybe that's where the focal point is going to go afterwards. You know, I kind of like that one. Although, you know, there's room for more. So where we have the gaps, that's where we can add something in the next steps. I'm used to working on, you know, 11 by 17 papers or bigger canvases and stuff. So working on the small one is, you know, I have to be conscious of not filling it up. So we have that. This one kind of looks, you know, I like the colors and I like the composition. I like the composition of this one. You know, I'm hoping with not doing the color first that I may be able to incorporate and have some white space in my final one. That's another thing that I'm not very successful at getting white space. So I'm hoping that maybe in this process I can do that. This one is very busy, but I didn't like that. So I stamped over it, and I like it a little bit better now than I did before. So we still have lots of blank spaces. What was I thinking? Liking this one very, very much. So again, this is kind of a disaster area. I like this. We have kind of the white space in there. Not sure how I'm going to approach that in upcoming ones, if I'm going to put some stenciling there. Again, we have lots of visual interest in the middle. Color will definitely go there. These die cuts that are here, you know, they will give texture as well. So on those, I don't know if I might just choose not to put texture paste on them. Did you have a favorite there? Catch me next time with stenciling.